Yo, what's going on guys? Chase the Bro here, and welcome back to another Dark Souls 3 weapon showcase. Today we're going to be examining the Lothric Knight Greatsword, but with a twist. Now everybody knows this sword is a beast on its own regardless. It has one of the highest ARs in the game depending on how you set up your build, but it can be extremely damaging. But since the most recent patch, all the infusions have received a buff, as you guys know, but one of them that I overlooked was the Blessed Gem infusion. Recently, Blessed Weapon has become a fad, as you guys know. Everybody's been using it because it does up your physical damage without adding elemental damage. Even though it's not by a huge amount, having that extra physical damage is really worth it. But here's the twist. If you infuse it with a Blessed Gem instead of using the Blessed Weapon buff, it actually gives it an A scaling in Faith. And with a 60 Faith build, which I'm running in this video, I have an AR of 747, and that's mostly physical damage. It still does get a little bit of lightning, but most of it is all physical. And each swing that I do does between 400 and 500 damage, depending on the opponent that I'm facing. But that's just ridiculous, man. Not only is that insanely high physical damage, but I don't have to worry about my buff running out like with Blessed Weapon, and as a bonus, it does regenerate my health just like any other Blessed Infused weapon would. This opens up the possibilities to so many different builds. You can create a regeneration build with this massive beast, or you could run even just a pure faith build with a ton of miracles and have this as your viable weapon, because with 60 faith, it's doing one of the highest ARs that I've ever had on a build without buffing it. I'm still astounded because before the patch, Blessed Weapon infusions were terrible. I would have never used any. Lightning at the time would have been fine, but buffing your sword was always the way to go. And I'm really enjoying the fact that the new infusions are doing decent damage and are actually viable, because it's opening up the doors to so many different possible builds. As well, I even have a one-shot build centered around this weapon before the most recent patch, and I had it infused with a Sharp Gem, and I went back and checked the AR, and even with a Sharp Gem infused on this weapon with 71 dexterity, you still get a better AR with it with the 60 faith and a Blessed Weapon infusion. So I think this might be one of the highest damaging outcomes of any infusion for this weapon. I'm going to test them all out for you guys, but as far as I know, this even beat the 71 dexterity Sharp Gem version. Of course, I could create a build with a higher AR for this weapon, but that would include a buff. I just wanted to have a physical flat weapon for once. Lately I've been using Dark Moonblade and a lot of other buffs, so I just wanted to run a build that I had to worry about nothing. I just go in and I can fight right away. When I spawn, I don't have to buff. This is just ready to go, and the AR is insane. Honestly, it takes 3 hits roughly to take out each opponent that I fight in the battle arenas, but there are a few exceptions with people that are running pure like vitality builds, and they'll take 4 hits maximum. I've never taken more than 4 hits to kill somebody, but usually it takes 3. Keep in mind that in the battle arenas we do have unembered health, and everybody has an average of 1250 to like 1400 health, so normally it will take 3 hits to take them out. If you're fighting an embered host, it might take 4. I would recommend hitting them and assuming you're going to have to take 4 hits to kill them, but if you're just doing duels like I am, this thing kills everyone in 3 hits. And even though I did mention that I have 60 faith, I'm sure you're all still wondering exactly what my stat layout is for this build, so I'm going to bring you on over to my stats and equipment. That way you don't have to ask me in the chat. Alright guys, so these are my stats, and like I mentioned, I do have 60 faith because the Blessed Weapon infusion gives me an A scaling in faith, and it gives me that mega amazing 747 AR. But you may be wondering why exactly I have 24 strength and 29 dexterity. That's pretty random, right? Well, between the strength, dexterity, and faith, I used the same amount of stat points and played around with them. Like, you know, like let's say I had 29 strength, 24 dex. That gave me a lower AR than I currently have. So out of all the faith, strength, and dexterity allotments with the same amount of stat points in all of them, this was the one that gave me the highest AR. As for the rest of my stat layouts, I have 25 endurance and 35 vigor, but I am wearing the prisoner's chain, so it gives me the 40 and the 30 that I'm comfortable with. I don't need any attunement because I had no miracles on this build. I was just showcasing the weapon itself, so I didn't have any FP, although that little bit did give me what I needed for the weapon art, so that's nice. And I started this build as a warrior, just in case you guys are wondering, but that's pretty much it for the stats, so I'm going to bring you on over to the weapons. And like I mentioned throughout the entire video, I'm using the Blessed Lothric Greatsword, so it gives me an AR of 747, gives me a D scaling in strength, C in dex, and A in faith. And like I mentioned earlier, it is giving me mostly physical damage. It still does do decent lightning damage, so that's just an added bonus. Other than my main weapon, I always keep a Cestus on me, either infused with a simple gem or a blessed gem, one for my FP, one for my health. And currently I had the Simple Cestus just so I can rebuild my FP because I don't have an FP pool. And I was using the Stomp a decent amount, not entirely, but it was worth it. If you guys want to make this a regen build, I definitely recommend the Blessed one. I'm wearing the Thief Mask, Sunset Armor, Carla's Gloves, and Fallen Knight Trousers because it keeps me just under that 70% mark, and it looks pretty fresh. I enjoy this. I look like a tattered warrior assassin. I have the Life Ring +3, Chlorine Ring +3 for my stamina because it's not as high as I like it. Ring of Favor +3, same thing, gives me extra endurance and equip load. And Prisoner's Chain, same thing, extra health, endurance, equip load, 3 main stats. And that's pretty much everything for this build and layout for this weapon showcase. This thing is a monster, so I definitely recommend trying it with a Blessed Infusion. Hell, make whatever kind of build you want with it, and if you do try making a regen build, that'll be interesting. And this thing kills everything in 3 hits. That's so OP, just like 2 R2s and an R1, whatever you want. But if you enjoyed my video, then like the video, it's right there. It really helps out my channel, so I thank you in advance. Also check the description for the video because it has the link to my Twitch, and you guys should definitely follow that because I am going to be streaming at least once a week now. I have all the gear, well, most of the gear that I need, so I'm going to start now. And I will be most likely streaming my Bloodborne playthrough tomorrow at 5 p.m, so tune in for that. It'll be a lot of fun. I want you guys all there to give me some instructions, seeing as I am a noob to that game. And as always, I want to thank you guys for watching my videos. It's been so fun so far. Let's keep this going. Chase the Bro out.